the Mercedes-AMG GT isn't on its own branch of the family tree anymore. Moving away from its beginnings as a standalone sports car, the second-generation GT now shares most of its underpinnings with the SL-class convertible. It's grown in nearly every dimension, and while it's still a blast, it delivers a different experience. The old GT practically shrink-wrapped itself around the driver, but this German has been hitting the bierwurst between generations. The second-gen GT is 6.7 inches longer, 1.8 inches wider, and 2.6 inches taller than its forebear. It's also 546 pounds heavier than the previous generation's base model, weighing in at 4,245 pounds. Hoot-and-a-half performance, devilish good looks, 4-driven wheels. Some of the weight gain also comes from the GT's most polarizing update for 2024, all-wheel drive. Though never offered in the first-gen GT, it's now standard, as is rear-axle steering. The twin-turbocharged 4.0-litre V8 living under the hood makes the same 577 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque as in the SL63 convertible, and it uses the same 9-speed automatic transmission as well. Unsurprisingly, adding all-wheel drive traction makes the new GT quite the performer. We recorded a 2.7-second sprint to 60 miles per hour, 0.3 seconds quicker than the 60-pound heavier SL63. The century mark arrives in 6.8 seconds, and the quarter mile in 10.9 seconds at 125 miles per hour. While the GT63's newfound quickness comes from an all-wheel drive launch, the additional mass is on full display when accelerating from 5 to 60 miles per hour, a move that requires 3.9 seconds. Once you get used to the accelerator, which does its best impression of a spring-loaded brick where the spring is also made of brick, power delivery is tricky but possible to dole out in increments. There's a barely tamed attitude here, get a smidge too aggressive with the pedal, and you'll smack the headrest as the V8 unleashes itself. The steering is also on the heavy side, and the suspension rides a fine line between firm and harsh in every mode, but the only true dynamic miss we found is the 9-speed automatic. Shifts can be both harsh and the most